Hello and welcome in to the latest Get Tilted show. We're doing a little something different today. We're pre-recording. We have a lot going on over at Fantasy Now Plus. We want to make sure that we have the most time for us to do some live shows for the playoffs going on this weekend for fantasy. So we're doing a little show differently today, but we'll get to all the main slate games. We'll get to all our favorite plays right now on Get Tilted.
You're listening to Get Tilted, only on Fantasy Now Plus.
That's right. We are sadly not live today, but that's all right because this just means we have more time to talk to each other, less time looking at the chat, and we're just ready for a grand old time to talk about a smaller slate because we have a couple of Saturday games. So maybe we'll go a little bit more in depth and maybe reach that 3-hour mark that we've been trying so hard to reach. But we'll find out as we go because we gotta get started right now. I'm your host Brian Rockwood, alongside me Tim Halstead, as always, and we are here to help you out with your DFS slates. Tim, how are your fantasy playoffs going? Hopefully you made a few. Hope you made all of them.
Didn't make all of them, but I also have like 40 dynasty leagues, so it's kind of impossible to make all of them. But I'm in the playoffs in my home redraft league. Had the 1 seed, so in my first matchup of the playoffs, I'm starting Colby Parkinson because basically all of my flex plays all got injured in the same week. So doing great so far. We'll see how that game progresses as we record. I'm nervous, but I don't have options, so we're going to hope for a touchdown or two out of him.
It seems likely, but we won't really know what happens until we're done recording. So here's to hoping that as we finish this show up, Colby Parkinson will jot down that. Let's go 80 and 2. How does that sound? Sound like pretty good?
Sounds
start?
Perfect.
All right. Well, I think we should just dive right in. I don't think there's any waiting we need to do because there's a few games that are really exciting, a few plays that are kind of scary, but yet we might do them anyway because that's just the sport. That's what we're doing. So without further ado, let's head into DK. We are looking at our, again, as always, the Sunday main slate. So no games that are happening on Thursday night, no Saturday games, and no Monday night and Sunday night games. So just the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games on Sunday. Starting with an absolute barn burner. This is the Quinn Ewers-led Miami Dolphins hosting the sad boy Joe Burrows and the Bengals. I have so many interesting roster construction things we can do here.
Yeah.
And right before we even start going, you said you're in. You're in on Quinn.
Not in on Quinn from a talent perspective. I don't think he's that good. I don't think the Dolphins think he's that good. I think they're just kind of taking a shot at it, but he's the minimum salary for quarterbacks at $4,000. He, in most weeks, I'll have no interest whatsoever, but he's facing the Bengals. They are just the absolute worst defense possible. They are almost historically bad of all time. They're easily the worst this season, and they no longer have anything to play for. They're basically out of playoff contention. Joe Burrow is depressed. Jamar Chase understands that Joe Burrow is depressed and is also depressed by association. And T. Higgins doesn't know where he is right now because he's on concussion like number 7 of the season or something like that. So it's a very wild game environment. It's a very scary game environment because it could either be a 35-31 type of game, or it could be 35-7, and you don't know which one is the 7 and which one's the 35. And it could also be 14-7.
Gosh, if it ends up being something like 14-7 or just like 10-14,
Yeah.
I think everybody involved with both organizations, the people in the stadium, people playing fantasy, people playing DFS are going to be so sad because how would a Joe Burrow offense not torch this Miami defense?
You would think.
And yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I'm staring at the price, and honestly, it feels so dumb to say, but this even feels expensive for Joe Burrow. Something like this, if
Yeah.
if I'm playing like a cash lineup, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I think you should build at least one Dolphins Bengals game explodes lineup this week. It very well could, and it has the type of pieces that are relatively easy to project to blow up. So I think that you should. I don't think, if you want to make it a huge part of a portfolio, that's your call. That's not something I'm going to do. But I think minimum salary Quinn Ewers helps you to do a lot of really interesting things on the week, especially with some of the higher end players available. I think Joe Burrow is expensive, but not cost prohibitive enough to be like, I'm not playing him at all. And, you know, it's it's a game environment that is really, really interesting on paper. And I think I'm just gonna give it a shot and see how it plays out. And, could be the Jets with Tyrod Taylor, and you're like, wow, this is great. Or it could be the Jets when Brady Cook came in, and you're like, wow, this was awful.
wow, what a very predictable and yet disappointing result. The third stringer not quite getting it done.
Yeah.
So, for what it's worth, and I know you're a dynasty guy, Quinn Ewers did have some buzz prior to his shoulder injury. He fell to the sixth or seventh round.
Yeah.
I think mainly because folks were worried about having him hold a clipboard because he was very good and highly touted and staved off Arch Manning for so long at Texas, so long,
Yeah.
2 years. But we'll see if he can do it in the pros. See what do with
Yeah.
the big boys. Mainly the only name I really want to highlight, obviously, is our boy Devon Achane.
Yep.
Disappointing last week against Pittsburgh, but whatever. He just gets it done, and he can do this anytime.
Yeah. I mean, he's the most expensive player on the slate, which is already a weird position to be in for him. But everyone's going to look at last year of like games without Tua, and they're just going to be like absolutely terrified of what that could look like, which is fair to some extent, but also the context of what the Dolphins were going through last season is not at all the same as what they're going through now. They are a healthier team, a better team. Their defense is better. So to some extent, it's scary, but I think his floor is just 15 points as what you see on screen, and the ceiling is 40 plus, and that's why he's the most expensive player on the slate. And he has one game this year under 15 points, and it was week 6. So,
And
no,
that was
that's
still
still
a game.
4.
And look at this. I mean, that was still a game where he rushed for 82 yards. He
Yeah.
had 5 targets. Like for all intents and purposes, he probably should have had a better game.
Yep. So, I mean, yeah, I think Achane is a good play. There's certainly a world he does not give you 30 points, but I think that the possibility that he does is also high enough that I'm going to play him. I've been burned by this spot before, but I'm going to keep playing it because, at least from a process standpoint, I think it's the right process.
I'm right alongside with you. I think this is just a easy click, especially when you look at the matchup, look at what these teams are going to do. They're at home, and just don't worry about the salary.
Yep.
We can find some bargains somewhere else, but Devon Achane, we've routinely said on the show, him, CMC, whenever they're on the slate, get one of them in there because they will always have that ceiling play to be truly great.
Yep.
The other really expensive option is Chase.
Yeah.
I think you can absolutely go this way.
Yep.
though it might not be as exciting, like strangely enough, because Chase is the guy forever and always. He still caught 10 passes last week for 100 yards. So definitely was great for you. Will it continue? I would say probably.
Yeah.
But do you want
He's,
to go this route? It's kind of not as easy as a lock and click, I should say, as
yeah.
past weeks.
He's running really bad on touchdown luck this week. If you notice, like he has 5 touchdowns on the year. They're all early in the season. Most actually, I think almost
Wow.
all of them, besides one, is with Joe Flacco. Like, but he gets peppered with targets. He is the most talented receiver in football. He can put up 250 yards in a game without breaking a sweat. And this is the type of defense that can give up that kind of game to someone. So I think he's in a very similar position to Achan, where it's just you might get 15, but you could also get 40. And that's kind of what you want out of your expensive players. Obviously, you're hoping for the 40, but I don't think he's a bad play, especially if T. Higgins misses this game, which he probably is going to. And he is
He should.
progressing through concussion protocol, but he has nothing to play for. So I don't know why they would rush him back for a meaningless game in Miami.
Like incentives, maybe. But otherwise, man, his health should be priority number one.
Yeah.
But
we're talking about the Bengals, so they're prone to anything that's not smart.
Jalen Waddle, I'm gonna pass. I don't think it's worth it this week.
Yeah.
Same goes for Malik Washington. I don't think you were gonna play Nick Westbrook-Ikine. I think we kind of skip all the Dolphins pass catchers.
Well, there's one that I want to talk about, but he's not a receiver, and it's Darren Waller. I know that he's a rapper, and I know that it's Quinn Ewers, but it's also the Bengals defense. And what have we said for the last X amount of weeks is when a tight end faces the Bengals, you play them and you just accept the results that you get. It didn't work last week because Lamar threw the ball, I think, 13 times.
Not even. I think he threw it 12 times.
Yeah, like they were just completely dominating Cincinnati in that game. He had to do nothing. And so that didn't have to play out. I can pretty confidently say that's not going to happen this week. If it does, I don't know, I'll eat my shirt. Like I am pretty confident Quinn Ewers is not going to put up 30 points while the Bengals get shut out by the Dolphins. I'm fairly confident in saying that. But also, it's not a fun click for Darren Waller at all because, again, it's Quinn Ewers and it's two teams that just really don't care at this point and they have nothing to play for. Mike McDaniels kind of has to play for his job, but also, like, I think he somewhat saved it by them sucking so bad in the beginning of the season and them, like, winning 4 or 5 straight before last week. So, yeah, it's not great, but I am interested in Waller, and he's cheap enough where I'm not going to be like, absolutely not. Like 3,500 is perfectly fine from a price point.
That's exactly my main point with Darren Waller. The price is good, not great, but it's good, and the ability to have 2 touchdowns, and he is going to get targeted so often in the red zone.
Yeah,
this is alluring enough for me to think about it, and based on some builds, I probably will get some Waller.
Yep. I think Gesicki is playable as well if Higgins misses. Obviously, if Higgins does not miss, he is not playable. But again, you can't really take what happened last week into account because Cincinnati scored 0 points and Joe Burrow, the entire team, basically did nothing. So, Gesicki, you play him when he's wide receiver 2. You don't play him when he's tight end 1.
The algorithm is easy, or the algebra is easy.
Yep.
I don't think you want to play either of these. We just a hard pass. Oh, unless I'm wrong.
It's Quinn Ewers. Like, do you want to play the? I know. So it's the question of which wins, a very stoppable force or a very movable object.
You know what? All right, you sold me. This is the defense I'm gonna use if I need a punt, because there's at least an option for a pick. Quinn Ewers in his one stint, I don't even know how he got into the game against the Cleveland Browns, but he
Yeah.
fumbled the ball twice.
Yeah.
So Bengals clearly don't have Myles Garrett on their line.
Yeah.
But he, it's still an NFL defense. So, I mean, allegedly they're an NFL defense. So they should get to him maybe once.
You know the joke of like, could the best team in college beat the worst team in the NFL? I do think the best offense in college could absolutely beat the Bengals defense in like more than half of the times that they would face.
I think right now it's exactly what's looking like.
Yeah.
Which is a bad.
But the Dolphins offense led by Quinn Ewers might as well be a college football offense. So we might be able to test this theory in real time.
We'll see. It's not nearly Mickey Mouse enough to be a college offense. We need a Tennessee OC in there to really spice it up and see get something wacky going with Waddle and Etienne. All right, let's head to the NFC South, where we are looking for the division winner in this matchup. One of these two teams will go to the playoffs and have a home game. So
great system.
I cannot believe it either. Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, both options that are fine for me. People are kind of excited about Bryce. And I say people, mostly just some folks on Fantasy Now Plus, as we're doing some waiver show. They're saying Bryce Young has been rolling hot. Kinda. I think the bar is pretty low for Bryce Young. So now that when he's not just a total train wreck, you're like, yeah, I like this. But 7 for 49, that is what we do like.
Yeah, he's running the last few weeks, which is really the only reason he ever gets there for fantasy at this point. So, he's cheap. He's 5,100. He's a punt quarterback. Totally fine. Baker, a little bit pricier, has not been playing well either, but I think he is fine because he's facing the Panthers. So, yeah, I think both are fine. I think you should build a game stack out of this game if you're playing volume of, we'll say that this is the game that goes Burr. I think that's a perfectly fine lineup to build, but also just as much chance as the previous game that this ends 14-10.
With the Panthers Saints game, I don't think either team cracked 20 points.
Yeah,
last week. I
think he hit 20 on the.
That's right. All right. To win, it was like 22-19, maybe 22-18. I don't know.
I think it was 2017. Yeah.
Okay. I hope that's not this. The Bucs have a way better offensive core. Bucky Irving is a player I'm very excited to try and use this week in DFS.
Yeah.
I don't think it should dud, but last week he did against a really bad Atlanta team, though that script was crazy. That whole game was kind of a wonky one. So maybe we shouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, it was a weird game. His usage is concerning a little. Like, he is neither the goal line back nor the receiving back, because Todd Bowles now has the bright idea to use all three running backs in the rotation instead of just Rachaad White and Bucky. He's now added Sean Tucker to the goal line package. So, Bucky's the kind of guy that can just get there anyways because he breaks off a 50-plus yard run. And against the Panthers, that feels doable. So I think he's a solid play. He's got really good upside. And there's the chance that, like you said, last week's game was just kind of weird, and he gets into a much better usage this week. So he could be someone that you kind of call your shot on and just say, the Bucs have to win this game. They're going to put it in his hands. And as he goes, they go. So I like that call for Bucky.
Yeah, and just last thing about last week, if he catches these two, I think you're happy. I mean, 10 points isn't very exciting from your 6,500, 7,200 running back. That's actually pretty disappointing. But at least it doesn't, crush you like some other options at that price range.
Yep.
All right. Well, folks want to know Dowdle Chuba. What are we doing?
I think it's back to Dowdle. Last week it was back to Dowdle.
It seemed like it to me. 16 carries versus the 8.
Yeah.
So there it is. It's right in front of you. It just doubled the carries.
I think the Rams game was just like a weird anomaly where, I don't know, maybe they understood that the Rams were game planning for Rico, so they just gave them Chuba instead, which is smart, but then begs the question, are they just going to do this every week of one of these guys is getting the touches and you're not going to know which one? So hopefully not, but Rico is cheap enough against a bad enough defense this week that I want to lean into the idea that he does just take the backfield back over. So I'll be playing Rico for sure.
Yeah, days are gone are the days where the Tampa Bay defense is a good run defense. Yeah. It seems like right now they're kind of porous everywhere.
Yep.
Which is a bad time for that as they're trying to get into the playoffs.
Yep.
Wide receivers, Mike Evans, to me it's kind of yep. Ekbuka a little scarier, though with Evans back, he kind of got back into the groove. Still 7 targets, but he was actually catching some of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I am fully smash the button on Mike Evans, 6,300. Like, we were joking on our live stream that he only needs like 230 yards per game in the last 4 games to reach 1,000 for the season. They're obviously not going to do that, but Baker just immediately went back to Evans and was like, here's 12 targets, and he did a lot with it. So he didn't go high enough in price, in my opinion. He's still the clear alpha. He looks good as new. I have no reservations playing him. And I don't really want to touch any other Bucs receivers. I think it's just kind of a weird rotation of they're all going to get 60 to 65% of the snaps between Godwin, Ekbuka, and Jalen McMillan, who's also back from injury. McMillan looked good last week as well. Ekbuka's kind of hit like a rookie wall. So I think Evans is the clear guy to go for. He's too cheap, and you can go for another buck, and one of them probably will hit, but I couldn't tell you which one, and I don't really, unless I'm building out like that big game stack I mentioned, I'm not particularly interested in trying to guess which one of the tertiary options is the best.
It's too tough. Between Godwin, Tez Johnson's kind of phased out now, but when Devin Culp got the red zone target, everything's out of whack, and it's just guessing game now outside of Mike Evans. So avoiding that type of chaos and that kind of uncertainty is probably for the best.
Yep.
But talking about uncertainty, the Carolina pass catchers, Tetero McMillan versus Jalen Coker. To me, that's the only 2 options.
I think you can play them both. I might be staring down the barrel of playing Coker in my home league that we mentioned for Colby Parkinson. I might have to play Coker in relief for Rashee Rice, which we'll get to in a bit, but he's getting targets at least, and he's turning them into yards, and the last 2 weeks he's gotten a touchdown out of it, and that's kind of why he's scoring well, but there's no reason to say it won't happen a third time. And 4,400, I'll gladly take 15 points.
Sure. And we even saw it last year at the end of the season. Coker and Bryce Young really synced up. Yeah, I think his injury really derailed the first half of the season for this year, and that could also kind of align with why Carolina's playing better as of late, is just Bryce Young has had better games because he's not just throwing it to Tet McMillan and the shadow that sometimes is Xavier Legette. Coker is like a legitimate number 2. Legette doesn't really factor into the offense anymore. He's just kind of there to run routes and block sometimes. And, I think it's Coker, Tet, and you just say, I think this will work. What can you do? It's the Panthers. You're already taking a really big gamble as you're queuing them into your list. Tight end is a nothing for me. Just nothing here.
Just skip. Like
Defense.
JT Sanders has had like the worst season I've ever seen in my life for someone who has not been injured. Like he's done absolutely nothing.
I mean, how can you? You only have opportunity every single game with several targets and plenty of chances to be great. Hate to see it.
I don't even remember that 9-target game. That I look at that and I'm just like, what?
Huh? That was this year. Oh, you know what? I remember that one because that was a very exciting time when people were trying to figure out the tight end position, thinking, "Oh, it's over. Everyone's bad."
Yep.
It's like defenses. I think you get cheeky here. I think if you want to play the Panthers, you can do that. The Bucks are a little scarier to me because they just, they gave Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts a new lease on life. So potentially not them.
I think both are fine. Bryce Young can just become Bryce Young again and throw 2 picks, and you're like, oh, okay. But he could also torch them. So there are probably better options. Neither of them are cheap, but neither of them are cost prohibitive either. I think if you're, like I said, if we're playing the full game stack and you just want to be like, and the defense goes off, like I think that's fine.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. Let's talk about a potential Super Bowl contender. We'll see how the Bills continue with their late season surge against the Cleveland Browns.
You're not talking about the Browns?
Maybe next year. Who knows?
No.
When they draft a new quarterback.
Yep.
Josh Allen, he's in. This is going to crush. The Browns defense is not what they're used to. Like, they are not as elite as they have been. They have been scorched by the Titans and the Bears in back-to-back weeks.
Yep.
Josh Allen will do numbers against this team. So if you feel inclined to have a top option at QB, you can't go wrong with Josh Allen, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'll never say don't play Josh Allen just because it's Josh Allen. And especially this year, there's no one else with that kind of ceiling that he has. I do think there is a solid chance that the Bills don't have to lift a finger to try in this game and just win by 20-something points just by playing football and not even really breaking a sweat. So that part scares me, but that could be on the back of Josh Allen. So you can play him and just go with the understanding that he probably has a relatively lower floor than you would hope for a $7,200 quarterback, but he also still has the highest ceiling by far. So he's still worth the cost. And there's just probably more of a downside than you would hope. But I would play him for sure.
In that regard, at least the downside will probably come from the upside of his running back, James Cook.
Yep.
You accurately said, I'm done fading James Cook. And he delivered for you last week against the New England Patriots in a big, big way.
Yeah.
I think he's in line to do it again.
Yep.
I did not realize how close he was to 2,000 yards. Now, I don't think he will actually get there because that would mean, 200 yards in the next 3 games? That seems a little absurd.
It's 4 games, so you could do like 150-ish, 175-ish. But yeah, it's still a lot. But it is at least an extra game.
For sure. I think you're playing him. DeAndre Swift torched this same Browns defense. Tony Pollard got over 100 yards. James Cook is, I shouldn't say wildly, I think he's much better player than those two.
Yep.
But Quinshon Judkins, man.
Like, this was our first question of the start sit live show that we had earlier tonight of, Quinshon Judkins, or I don't even remember who else it was. It was some like wide receiver 3. And like, I can see both sides of the argument of the Browns offense might do nothing. He might give you 4.7 again, but also they're facing the Bills, and the Bills' rush defense is awful, and it has been awful all season. And so even if the Browns can't really move the ball through the air, or if they're just average, Judkins could still just run 2 long touchdowns on the ground, and then you feel silly. So I can see either way. I think it's a personal preference of do you see any future outcomes where the Browns can even kind of push the Bills? Then I would play Judkins. If you think this is just like a guaranteed blowout or worse, a slog of like 17 to 14 and the Bills barely win because they're barely trying, then probably don't play Judkins. But he's only 6K, so it's not awful.
Yeah, it's not nearly as tough as his previous weeks in terms of pricing, but I completely agree. It's how do you see this game going to go is just how confident you can be in this player.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not, despite the fact that the Bills are pretty bad at the rush, defense portion of defense. Yeah, I don't know. It's not exciting. I'm not excited about this Browns offense. And like going over to the next slide too, this whole page, I'm just gonna say no. I don't have
Skip.
any interest. Skip. This is now kind of what we're talking about here. I'm worried about Fannin because truly the Bills are excellent against the tight end.
Yeah.
And as the only receiving option on this team, it doesn't take a brilliant defensive mind to realize you just put a second person on him and see if Shadur Sanders can beat you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But I think Fannin's just that good that it won't matter, to be honest. Like, I totally do think that his floor is way lower than you would want this week, and at his price point, it's not the most fun in the world to pay $4,500 for a low floor. But I mean, he has 25 targets in the past 2 games. Like, I think I said this on our show last week. He's like first in the NFL at the position for yards after the catch, and he's like lapping the field between him and second place. Like, he breaks tackles, he is shifty, he just gets yards. So even if he's only getting 6 junky targets in this game and catches 4 of them, like, he could still give you 40 to 60 yards, and if you luck into a touchdown, then you're like, this is a great game. I'm glad I played Harold Fannin. So especially in the portion of the season where 2 tight ends is kind of like almost required now in a lot of builds just because of how hard it is to find value. Like, I think he's playable, but I also totally get the fade. Totally don't blame anyone for fading Shadur Sanders in the cold against a good team.
Unfortunately, this is a fade for me. I love Harold Fannin. He's going to be great season after season. I can feel it in my bones, but this week is a pass for me.
Cool.
I want to say great shout out to you last week when you talked about how Shadur hasn't really played in this frigid cold yet, because it was obvious he did not look good, and the Browns expected, right on cue, lost by 1 billion to the Bears.
And it's going to be just as cold, if not colder, this week from what I'm hearing about that game. So it's going to be like almost sub-zero, like windy. Just probably just play running backs and move on in this game, to be honest.
Yeah. I'll give a shout out to Justin Knox. Dalton Kincaid just might not play because he doesn't own a right leg. Whatever. So Dawson Knox, who had 2 touchdowns last week against the Pats, he is a relevant target on this offense because we skipped the wide receiver tab because no one else is relevant over there. So it ends up just being these 3 tight end sets that are legit here.
Yep.
Defense, yup. Play your Bills defense.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good time. All right, let's head to the Dome. Let's head to Dallas. Cowboys hosting the Chargers. This has the theme of something really exciting and really explosive
Yep.
that's kind of hampered by the fact that the Cowboys might not be good and Justin Herbert has his like broken hand.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's going on with the wide receiver options there.
Yep.
Are you still going to play one of these if you can? QBs.
Definitely not Herbert. He's even before the broken hand, just basically once Joe Alt went on IR, he's just been putridly bad. His offensive line is laughably bad. Like it makes the Raiders' offensive line look bad. So he's just not throwing the ball anymore. They're handing it off to Amarian Hampton and Kamani Vidal like 30 times a game, and they probably are going to do that again against a lesser Cowboys rush defense. I'm pretty sure Quinnen Williams is going to miss this game, which turns their run defense back into a lot more exploitable than it has been with Quinnen Williams. So not playing Herbert. I'm always interested in Dak. I'm always interested in Dak doubles. Yes, they're not in playoff contention anymore, but Jerry Jones will never let this team quit on a season, even if George Pickens really wants to. But, Dak has 400 passing yard, 4 touchdown upside in his range of outcomes pretty easily. They can do it any given week if they just want to or really try to. So I'll definitely play Dak, but he's not someone I'm like smashing the button on. He's not like a must play for me by any stretch.
And I believe they are like a 2%er right now for the playoffs. I don't think they're mathematically eliminated, but when it has to be Dallas wins out and Philly loses 2 of 3, and their next games are, I think, are Commanders, Giants, Commanders for Philly.
Yeah.
Dallas is effectively out of the playoffs.
Yep.
But that won't stop Javonte Williams or Javonte Williams from doing what he wants to do. And like you said, the Chargers running backs are interesting, if not in a little bit of a timeshare.
Yeah.
I'm worried about Hampton, but I do think he can crush. I do think the opportunity is there because, like you said, the Dallas defense is a little softer now without Quinnen Williams.
Yep. I mean, for Hampton, it's very simply that he's talented and, was a first round pick, and they have to run the ball because they don't want Herbert dropping back very much with the hand and the offensive line. And Hampton started to look a little better the last few games. He looks more like himself of old before the injury. He's still a rookie. He has missed a good chunk of the season and is still trying to find his way. So I think Hampton's a good play. I don't think he has like mega nuke ceiling by any stretch of the imagination because it is a timeshare with Vidal, but I also like 7.5, I think is around the floor. Like he's going to get 10 to 15 rushes a game. He's going to get a couple targets, and he has the ability to break 1 or 2 of those. And you're looking at a 25, 30-point game, or he doesn't, and you get a 10-point game. So 5,900, perfectly good price, good game atmosphere. I'm happy to play him, but I also totally understand the downside built in.
It's tough. It's tough to even try to rationalize playing one over the other because they have very similar skill sets. It's not like they're both 2 down backs where they're like first down, second down, you're off the field for third down.
Yeah.
Both these guys can do both things. So it's a little trickier there. So here's hoping Hampton kind of has the hot hand. Vidal did have, I thought the previous week he had a pretty long run receiving, but I think Hampton's definitely taking that job back over.
Yep.
Javonte Williams is just reliable as it can be, which is not what we said in the beginning of the season, but love to be shocked. I love to be surprised, and I'm glad that he's kind of had a resurgence of this type of success, especially after that knee injury.
Yep. You should play him. Chargers are nothing to to be fearful of as a defense. Cowboys might just give him the ball 20 plus times if they really don't want to care that much anymore. So I think Javonte is a good play if he plays. I don't know what the injury designation is for, but I haven't heard anything one way or the other.
His neck? No. Well, limited practice on Thursday. I'm not concerned.
If he doesn't play, Malik Davis, but
yes,
if he does play, definitely not.
Wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens. I want to say you can, but the Chargers defense is very, 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 very good against pass catchers.
Yeah.
So it's a little dicier here, but if you want to play Dak, you're going to play CD.
Yep.
No way around that. Don't get cute and play Ryan Flournoy.
Yeah.
I know you want to. He still had 5 targets last week. It's not worth your time. And I don't think your roster will ever demand to have a 3,800 wide receiver.
Nope. I think Lamb is, especially with Rashee Rice probably missing, I think Lamb is like the best second-tier receiver out there or second-tier player out there this week. Like, outside of the game he left after one rush with injury, he's had at least 7 targets in every game he's played this season. He gets the ball from Dak regardless of game situation. It's basically a Michael Wilson situation all over again. But the real question is, do you play Pickens? I'm not going to outside of a Dak double, but that's probably going to be like one team I make. Everything else, I have no interest. I know he's had a great season, but he's kind of crashing back to earth. He looks uninterested. He's not getting the ball as much as he was. I think that's either annoying him or something's going on in his personal life or what have you. I don't know, but not really interested in him. I need to see it from him again first before I'm back in. So I'm going to pass on it this week.
Yeah, and him not having a good game against Dallas, against Detroit was really the big question mark, kind of what was going on here. Against Minnesota, understandable. They also have a great, passing defense.
Yeah.
I agree, though. I'm not interested in playing him. Wildly expensive. Matchup's not awesome. Yeah. I can go somewhere else with that type of money. The tight end, I assumed we're not playing any Chargers pass catchers because how?
He's throwing for like 170 yards a game. Like, just no thanks.
Though I will say there's a world where Oronde Gadsden's interesting.
Yeah,
because
especially against Dallas.
Yeah, right. He did look much better last week. He's been kind of quiet, but he did have a good week against the Chiefs. I think that could lead us into another good game as you kind of ramp up back from his injury, and then his route tree kind of fits more of a shorter area type of deal. But he does play like a wide receiver, which is the exciting part.
Yeah. Yep. Totally into Gadsden. Don't think Ferguson is worth the price. He's very firmly the 3rd or 4th target now with Lamb back. So play Gadsden. Don't worry about Ferguson. Don't worry about any other Chargers pass catchers, really.
Yep. Do you want to play defense here? Because I don't want to.
I mean, Cowboys will get at least a few sacks. Herbert is just getting sacked a lot. That offensive line is bad, but they could also give up 30-something points pretty easily, so probably not.
Yeah.
They're not scoring a lot as of late, so I'll probably pass.
Yeah, and the Chargers, I don't feel like, as much as we kind of dunk on the Cowboys, they are still a juggernaut of a team, of an offense that can score a lot of points.
Yep.
I'm good. I'll pass on that.
Yep.
Here we go. This is the one we're all waiting for. Battle of the Titans, New York Jets versus the New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shuck, Brady Cook. Just a true chess match at the quarterback position. I joke, but Shuck is probably like an absolute slam dunk this week.
I'm very interested in Shuck. He's cheap. He's running a lot. They have no running backs left. We'll get to that soon. The Saints have been, good. They've beaten the Buccaneers. They've beaten the two NFC South leaders in back-to-back games. Like, the Jets are a hapless opponent at this point. So I think you play Shuck. I think you can play him stacked, unstacked. He's just a good quarterback shout this week. Brady Cook, I'm not like 100% opposed to, but I kind of am just like, what's really the point? Like, the Saints defense is not putridly bad. Like, I would rather play Ewers because he's facing the Bengals than I would Cook against the Saints, because the Saints are at least like a halfway okay defense and can force some turnovers. So you can play Cook, but I don't really see the point in doing so.
There's one argument for Brady Cook, and if this is a real thing, if 6 rushing attempts for 40 yards is real, then that baseline's pretty nice.
Yeah.
The price tag is good, and you can end up having a really cheap stack with Adonai Mitchell.
Yep.
That's it. That is the selling point. If that seems attractive to you from a DFS standpoint, go for it.
Call the number.
Yeah. Send us a screenshot in the Discord and then call the number, because we care about you.
Yeah, that's too far.
All right, let's talk about the ghost of the running back room in New Orleans. Kamara probably not playing. Devin Neal is on the IR?
Yep, they put him on IR to end the season.
No. Oh my gosh. This is truly the first time I heard about that. Maybe I just missed it in the practice reports.
They did it like 2 or 3 hours ago. So.
Oh my God. Well, that leads us with, I didn't even mention Kendra Miller, who has a full-time residency on the IR.
He had the perfect run out this season, and he was getting there, and then it just another torn ACL. It's
just the
so
body can't hang up.
Yeah,
just can't handle. Evan Hull, Indianapolis Colts legend. Probably don't. Audric Estime, Denver Broncos legend.
Also, nope. My answer to this game is I don't care. I'd rather wait and see if one of them meaningfully takes the majority of the work and play them next week when they're 5,500 or whatever. Like, Devin Neal had an absolutely fantastic workload, and he was never expensive. Like, he never went up in price. He was always like 5,400 every week. So I'm not worried about losing out on a couple $100 in value over the next few weeks between Hull and Estime. Like, I know it's a good matchup, but I just don't care. I don't have a lean to either of them. They played them in the exact wrong configuration last week. Like, they had Audric Estime as their third down pass catching back, even though he's not a pass catcher, and they had Evan Hull as their early down between the tackles, even though he's like a prolific pass catcher. So I'm just like, what are they doing? 2, why? And 3, I just don't care this week. Check back.
See about 4 or 5 episodes of Get Tilted where we clearly do not have the knowledge to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL, because it does not make sense to me at all.
Nope.
Anyway, skip it. I'm good. Brees Hall, I'm over. I'm done with Brees Hall. I don't even think it's worth it. When's the last time he actually helped us out here? Yeah, that's not helping us. Pass.
Yeah. That's just no running. That's why I like Shuck so much, is like he might have to be their running back. Like, I don't want anything to do with either of these teams' run games. If I miss out on a big game from someone, then like I'll just accept that loss, but I'm not going to spend my hard-earned money on any of them.
No, because that's silly. Yep. There's so many better options.
Like Chris Olave.
Exactly, like Chris Olave. Also, why is Garrett Wilson at 5,500?
Because, he could have been activated off IR this week, but the Jets just aren't for Jets reasons. So, I think they were just like preemptively guessing just in case he was activated, and they didn't want him to be stone minimum and everyone play him.
That's fair. Good thinking, DraftKings. But the player I do want to play everywhere is probably Chris Olave.
Yep.
Like, I think this is a perfect stack opportunity with Shadow Shuck.
Yep.
And end of thought. I think this is just great. I think this is just a slam dunk.
Yep.
Especially with Bailey out. He's now the sole pass catcher. That's worth it.
Yeah. Again, you can guess on whatever Saint wide receiver is number 2. I don't personally care. It's probably going to be someone. They might go for a good game, but I would rather just not have to worry about that in my life.
Bring him out. Bring him out, boys.
I wish.
Now's the time. Yeah.
More IR for Jalen Polk.
For the Jets pass catchers,
Just
this
Mitchell.
is it. It's just this guy. Your best bet.
Yep. We faded him last week because, the week before he had 1 catch on 6 targets, and we were like, Brady Cook is truly could be like the worst quarterback in NFL history, and I want to wait and see. And then he hyper targeted Adonai Mitchell, and so I'm interested in that, and I'll gladly chase that because the Jets have no one else to throw to outside of Mechie, and I don't think Cook can support 2 of them, so I'd rather bet on Mitchell.
Easy enough. I'm right there with you. Tight ends, the only one relevant is Juwan Johnson.
Yep.
Do I care? I personally don't.
I'm interested.
Okay.
He has like 4 targets as a baseline every week. They don't have Vele. They don't have running backs. Taysom Hill's probably going to play running back for like half the snaps in this game and get 1.3 yards per carry. Like, Juwan Johnson's just very clearly going to be their second receiving option, and it's a very bad defense in the Jets. So I think you can play him. You're going to expect about what he's given you all season, which is anywhere from 7 to 12 points. And that's totally fine, especially if like I'm playing him as a flex for my, and I'm doing another tight end. Like I can't think of a 4K wide receiver that's going to get me 7 to 12 points pretty consistently. So I'm fine playing him. He's not like a must play, but I think he's totally fine.
Yeah, and there's always touchdown upside. Like Bailey's out. He was a short area guy that Shuck liked, so slot in Juwan Johnson. Should be someone that can give you a little bit of upside there in the red zone.
Yep.
How about Jeremy Rucker? He just signed a bag. He's got a big old bag of cash. Huh?
No.
Okay.
I had
Sounds
to
good.
process in my brain who you were talking about, so that shows how interested I am.
Oh, man. Fair enough.
Saints defense.
I agree. Saints defense is a lock. I'm just going to do that right now. All right. Moving on. Minnesota Vikings versus the New York Football Giants. Like,
what do we
maybe?
do here? I know. Like, he's played so well, but like, are we sure? Like,
for what it's worth, like, I'm pointing to my screen like you can all see it. These are the cakest of cake matchups you can get, and he came through. And I think that's the important part.
Yeah.
Was the yardage there against Commanders? No, but he still had 3 touchdowns. We care. Like, against Dallas, 250 and 2, he threw a pick, whatever. I mean, that was like the first throw of the game.
Yeah.
Got to get the yips out somehow. But he ran for a touchdown on a really, really impressive bootleg. There's, dude, 11 and 11. Are you kidding me? Like,
it would be funnier if it was 9 and 9.
I know, but there's something here.
Yeah,
we trashed him. I've been really against him for the majority of the season, but clearly there's legs here. There's something going on with JJ McCarthy that can get people excited.
Yeah,
against the Giants, I think you can look towards this way.
Yeah, and he's very cheap.
That's a very cost effective. There we go.
Yeah, and I think Jackson Dart is also playable. He basically took the instruction from the Giants coaching staff and said, "That's cute, no," and just continued to run it last week, which was my fear was that he would not, but he is back to rushing it, back to getting absolutely decimated in tackles and then just getting up and being happy-go-lucky about it. So, facing an opponent, he's going to have to throw a lot. He's going to have to run the ball a lot. I think Dart perfectly fine, good price. I probably would lean McCarthy out of the two just because of how much cheaper he is. It's almost a full 1,000 cheaper, and the Giants' defense is really bad. So, yeah, I think I'd lean McCarthy, but I also think Dart is a viable play this week for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame anybody if they do prefer Dart. I just think the Vikings defense is going to be relentless.
Yeah.
That's just how they go against, rookie quarterbacks, and I guess a team that isn't really strong on offense when Dart isn't like doing everything.
Yeah.
It feels like he can struggle in this game. Running back, Tyrone Tracy, Jordan Mason, Aaron Jones. Feel confident about any of them?
I'm interested in Tracy. He's getting most of the work now. They've kind of stopped being silly with Devin Singletary for the most part. He still gets passing down work. He gets goal line work. Gets most of the rushes, regardless of game script. So Tracy's interesting. He's cheap at the running back position. We don't have much value there at this point. So totally fine taking a stab on him if you're going to go a cheaper running back as your RB2 this week. But I don't think he's a must play by any stretch. And the Vikings backfield is still just too random and too split to really care about either of them, unfortunately, even in a good matchup.
Yeah, if I were to pick one, like I don't even know if I have a preference over one or the other, because I
Yeah.
want to say Jordan Mason, he's gonna be our bruiser here. Aaron Jones would be our pass catching back, but you can kind of just see the numbers; they're not very enticing. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of out. Shoot
Yeah.
your shot on one that you think will catch the touchdown or run it in.
Yeah. I mean,
Otherwise,
Jones
yeah.
just isn't fast or efficient anymore. Like he's on the wrong side of 30 and on the wrong side of injuries. And, McCarthy still throws screens at 120 miles an hour. So he's liable to drop some of his targets just because they're not catchable. And, I probably would play Jones of the two, but I don't want to play either of them at all.
Then we'll move on. Easy enough. Wide receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yep.
Wan'Dale, play him.
Yep.
Seems good. Jalen Naylor, I guess we're playing him at 3,500. Not the worst.
Yeah. The fact that he's really cheap makes him playable. I still don't love having to have him compete with two Pro Bowlers and a good tight end for targets, but apparently JJ McCarthy doesn't particularly care that he has two Pro Bowlers and a good tight end. He just really likes Jalen Naylor. So
Look at this. Look at this stat line, man. Look at this game log.
I know.
Come on.
You got to play him though.
I think you do.
He's $6,000.
I think you have to.
Like he is a mid-level wide receiver in price, and he could easily just get 12 targets, and if he catches 8 of them, then you're like, well, duh, I should have played Justin Jefferson at 6,000. Like, what am I thinking? He's usually 7,500.
Yep.
But also, he could just give you 4 points again, like he has been doing the last 3 weeks. So, totally understand not wanting to do it, but I will do it because I don't want to get burned.
I'm absolutely going to need a roster with the McCarthy JJ stack because, again, if we miss it, we might not get it again.
Could be this one. Ooh, we'll see.
Tight end, Theo Johnson, Theo. I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah, Theo Johnson.
Play him.
Like him. Play him. Seems good. Hawkinson. He's been much better recently. He had a really slow start beginning of the year, but now he's kind of
Yeah.
Getting in rhythm.
Yep.
I'm in.
McCarthy dumps it down to him more than Jones for sure.
Yep.
He is definitely the safety valve, and there's no ceiling, but there's at least a 10-point-ish floor, so can do a lot worse for $3,000.
Exactly. So cheap. You're okay there. Defenses, I want to play Vikings,
I want
but
to play
they're really
Cal.
cheap. Play either.
Yeah, I think both are playable because both are rookie quarterbacks that can and will turn the ball over plenty of times. So
That's fair. And at 2,600, right? Like if I get 5 points out of that, I'm happy.
yeah,
I'm not mad.
they
Tim
still
Burmy.
have they still have an elite pass rush there that can get some sacks, and McCarthy will most likely throw at least one pick. So
Yep.
you've got a decently safe floor on points.
I'm right there. All right. This is a game that I want nothing to do with, but I'm sure there's someone we can talk about.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs head over to Tennessee. No Patrick Mahomes. Gardner Minshew is in control, has the reins. Oh, boy. There we go. And Cam Ward is on the other side of the field.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know. End of sentence. I'm not playing either. I know there's some temptation to queue one up, but I'm out. I'm okay. I'll let Minshew surprise me from afar.
Yeah. Cam Ward's at least been like playable in most of his games since the bye. Like he's giving you a safe floor, and he's only 4,400, but there is very, very little room for upside, really. Like he had that 2-week stretch where he ran the ball a lot and got 30 plus yards, and those were his two best fantasy games of the season. So you could hope that it just happens here and he steps up against a better Chiefs defense, because for some reason he's playing better against good defenses than bad defenses. Like his two best games are against the Texans and the Seahawks, but he like didn't do much of anything against the 49ers. It's a very weird dynamic for him.
Hey, that's a very weird team to start, so maybe it's not even his fault.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think you play either of them, but I mean, they're cheap, so like I don't fault you if you really want to lean into the savings and just say, "Hey, if they give me 18 points, I'm skipping for joy."
Yeah, there's value to be had.
Yep.
Running back, again, nothing inspires me. Nothing gets me excited. Tony Pollard has been kind of resurgent a little bit, but this Kansas City defense is still good.
Yeah, but so are the Browns, to be fair.
I guess that's true.
I think they're going to give him the ball either way. Like he's been a volume play all season. It's just it hasn't mattered, but the last 2 weeks it mattered. So it could matter again, or he could just go back to giving you 6 points. So I don't fault anyone for playing him. He's still pretty affordable. Like their only way of scoring points is by establishing it with him. So I think he's playable, but I don't think he has the type of ceiling that we're looking for. I don't think he is likely to replicate his ceiling from the last 2 weeks.
If it's a percentage kind of game, it's definitely more of the 40 of the 60-40 likely to happen.
Yeah.
But still plenty high enough to make you think, why not?
Yeah.
Who knows? The only other option here is Kareem Hunt in my mind, and he has been bad. He's been just like straight up bad for you.
They should just see what Brashard Smith has, but I don't know if the coaching staff is going to ever have that thought cross their mind. So unfortunately, I need to see it first before I'm going to take that approach with Smith. With our luck, it'll be a Pacheco game for no reason whatsoever.
Because that's just what we're doing now. Yeah. 11 for 21. All right. Get off my screen.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Carson Steele game coming in. All right. With Rashee Rice most likely out with this concussion.
Yeah.
The receiving options in this game are drastically cheaper than and then Rashee Rice.
Yep.
So Worthy becomes interesting.
Yep.
If you feel so inclined, Tyquan Thornton is interesting.
Honestly, Hollywood's interesting. Like,
Holloway coming back is very interesting. Without Rice in the beginning of the season, he was a target hog. Maybe.
but that was from Patrick Mahomes. So
That's true.
something is interesting with a grain of salt. But also Minshew just, he absolutely loves to dump it off to his wide receivers. So who do you project to be that type of receiver? Probably Travis Kelce, but probably Hollywood and Juju, if anyone.
It might be this guy.
Like, it could be Juju. Hollywood does get dump offs, even though he really shouldn't from like a physical build standpoint. But it's not going to be Worthy. That I know for sure, because they're not going to have him re-break his collarbone or whatever on a Gardner Minshew garbage time slant. So it's interesting. I think there are several options worth taking your shot on because they're all cheap and it's against a bad defense. But I have no interest in like a big game stack of Chiefs by any stretch. I think they're all just kind of like supplementary pieces of like, oh, I have exactly this much left. Sure.
Perfect. Yep.
Yep.
Chimera DK, no, don't. I can see the vision.
Yeah.
He gets there sometimes, and when he does, sometimes it's really great. Like, like against the Seahawks. Again, why did he have his best game against the Seahawks?
Kick return.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yep. Receiving it was just average, but kick return.
Yeah, I am not comfortable doing so.
Yeah.
I know some people are braver than me. They will be rewarded if they do.
Like, I would rather play Hollywood, who's cheaper anyways, like
Exactly.
than DK. I honestly would rather play Iomanner over DK. Just fundamentally, I know he's not getting the target volume, but he's just more of the primary receiver in the offense, and DK is just the one that's getting open at this point because Iomanner is getting like the number one corner every week. So, I like Iomanor, but I'm not playing him against a good defense.
Hard pass for me.
Yep.
Tight ends, it's Kelce or nothing else. I guess you can think about Gunnar Helm as well, but we'll talk about Kelce real quick. I know you're very much in the camp of it's going to be Minshew to Kelce a lot.
Yep.
So that very much leads to greatness in our PPR format.
Yeah. I mean, he's expensive, but again, finding a 4,700 wide receiver that's going to get 6 to 10 targets is pretty rare, if not impossible. So I'm fine with Kelce. He's live to just get a disgusting touchdown in the red zone or get 10 targets and get you 100 yards. It's not the Travis Kelce of old, but he's a fine, like, middle of the road type of tight end for sure.
Yep. Gunnar Helm, any
he's
interest
interesting
here? For sure.
Yeah.
2,900. Wow, I didn't realize.
He just sits there every week, regardless of how well or bad he plays. It's just like, we're going to put him right there.
I can see it paying off. If you really want to go nasty with it, sub 3K, I think that's your target.
Yep, fully agree.
I would play Chiefs defense maybe.
Yeah, Cam Ward takes a lot of sacks, throws a boneheaded pick once every couple of games, so Chiefs are a fine shot. I honestly wouldn't hate playing the Titans defense because Gardner Minshew's not that good, and Chiefs can't run. So how exactly are they going to score points? I don't really know. It could be really bad.
For what's worth, this is the DST still, right? So there's one option for a kick return touchdown from GK.
They are very cheap, so
I like that here.
They're one of my favorite, if not my favorite, punt defense on the week. So I think.
All right. I dig it. Jacksonville heads over to Denver for a top-seeded battle. I am hesitant to believe in the Jaguars' hype against the Denver Broncos defense,
Yeah.
and I'm also hesitant to play any of the Broncos against the Jaguars defense.
Yeah. To be like fully blunt, I think it's the running backs and move on in this game. Nix and Lawrence both have the upside to prove that wrong, but they also have the downside to be like, told you, they got 6 points. And there's just better quarterback plays in both of their price ranges that I would just rather play straight up over them. So, ETN has a fantastic workload. Tootin is out. They don't get LaQuint Allen involved that much. RJ Harvey is back healthy at practice. He gets a nice workload. He's getting a lot of touches. I think you want to pay for high value workloads at running back. Both of them have it. I'm willing to pay up for ETN. Totally fine, but everyone else in this game is not that interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It really does feel like it's ETN or Harvey and nothing else. I don't really think you should gamble on LaQuint Allen. As much as I like him as a prospect, he's just not used. And even with Tootin out, I don't think it's going to be too much of a difference.
Nope.
Yeah, wide receiver, you're not even out. You're out on Myers as well. Because I don't know if I want to play BTJ or Troy Franklin. God, I can't get the name right. Especially with Pat Bryant back.
Yeah, like all the Broncos feel gross because they're all healthy. And so then it's just a musical chairs of who's getting the targets this week. And also Bo Nix, I don't believe in. So it doesn't matter. And then for the Jaguars, it's like Brian Thomas Jr. is probably getting Pat Surtain, so he's gone. Like, you can play Myers. I think he's fine. I think he's like a nice, safe, like he's probably a cash game wide receiver just because he's getting a solid target share. He just signed a 3-year extension before we started recording. Like, he's involved. He's scored in 3 of his past 4 games. So he's a fine play. He's not too expensive, but like, I'm not stacking him with Lawrence or anything. I'm not expecting this to be a blowout. I think it's going to be like a slugfest that's 17-14 or something gross like that. And it's in Denver. Like, he's fine.
Yeah. And as we kind of say with some other options, you're just looking at other maybe more exciting players at that range. So you can definitely look somewhere else here.
Yep.
Tight end, no thanks. Not even Brenton Strange for me.
No.
DST? No.
Not really, no. Like, yes, it could be a slugfest, but also like I can't guarantee it's going to be a slugfest. It could also be 34-40, and you'll have no idea who's going to score any of those points. So it's just too wide of a range of outcomes for me to want to use either of them. They could both get there, or neither of them could get there. So it's a pass for me.
Pass for me as well. Let's head over to a real barn burner this time. This is going to be I can only hope, a 50-point game.
Yeah.
Atlanta Falcons versus Arizona Cardinals. Brissett, Cousins. Brissett remains to be the most disrespected player on DK. What is this? 5,300? Are you kidding me?
He went down. Like, why is he going back down in price? What are we doing? For what reason?
I don't know. For us to do this, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Just like, boom. Cousins is interesting to me too, for the same exact reason why.
Drake London's probably back, so I think you can play Cousins.
On the same vein as Achane, Bijan Robinson, yup. I think he's a smash.
Smash the button.
I'm just gonna put him right in there. Love it. Michael Carter, not as much as DFS as I like him in probably like a real fantasy shell, but he can get there. I think there's some value here.
The only thing that's scary is that DeMarcado is back. So like, I don't know what that split would look like. I don't think we've had a situation where it's just Carter and DeMercado yet. Maybe we have. I don't know.
It was
We've
against
had
the
like,
Titans. I think we saw one.
okay. Yeah. Because like Bam Knight is out for the season to make the third Arizona Cardinal running back to now be out for the season. I think Carter's fine. DK kind of jumped the gun on pricing, so I'm not a huge fan of him being 5,400. Like Tony Pollard's the same price. I think I'd rather play
Yeah.
Pollard, but I honestly think DeMarcado's might be a solid, cheaper punt play. Like he's going to get passing work. He has explosiveness to break off a big catch or a big run. It's not a volume play whatsoever. It's purely just the Cardinals are always trailing and they always score points at this point of the season. So I want a piece of that and just hope. But I think Carter's a fine play, but a little pricey. I think DeMarcado is like probably the only true punt running back option on the slate. But I just don't think I'd play either of them when it comes down to it because I just don't know what the split looks like.
And I didn't realize DeMarcado was back.
Yeah.
So we were just talking right before this about the Seahawks and the Rams as they're playing currently.
Yep.
And I said, all right, well, I'm going to bench Ken Walker for Michael Carter this week.
Could still work. I could eat my
Houston.
words. I really could. I simply just I don't know. So I don't like to play plays where I don't know, but there's absolutely a world where Carter is just like 75% of the touches and you should have played him. So
no, I think you're absolutely right. And this running back room has value in this game. Picking it is hard. So we could probably go somewhere else. Whiteout. And there he is. The king. At 6,900.
I just don't know if he becomes the prince or not. I just don't.
Yeah, it's all up to him. It's
Yeah.
all based on Marvin Harrison Jr. Is he available? Because when he's available with Brissett, he's going to get the targets again.
Yep.
However, if he's not, a mess. All eyes again are on Drake London. If he plays, he's in.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty close to a must play if he plays. I mean, the Cardinals defense is just so bad. It's so injured. You know, we talked about being okay playing Kirk Cousins in this game. It's because the Cardinals can't stop anything at this point in the season, and Drake London is one of like the top 8 to 10 wide receivers in football. So any injury discount you can get on him, I think you should take. So keep a close eye on that practice report.
The other name I will throw out is David Sills. I know it's gross, but what is that? 10 targets, 6 catches. He's not nothing.
Apparently Darnell Mooney is nothing.
That is true.
I have no idea what happened to him. He just
never got better after that injury, that weird injury.
Yeah, but I agree. I think if London misses, I think you should play Sills. He's cheap and someone's going to get receiving work in this game. It's just kind of it's a question of who, but it's at least a lot easier to narrow down than some of these other receiver situations that we talked about, like the Saints and, you know, the Jets and stuff like that. There's only 2 or 3 guys that even can be, even though they're gross. So
it's all right, because we can talk about the tight ends instead, because these are less gross and almost like I'm jokingly thinking, just flex both of these guys. Just get them both on the roster, because you know that Trey McBride is going to get 13 targets again.
Like I said it last week. He went down 600, and I was like, for what reason? And then he did it. Just play him. Marv or no.
And then Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. This one I just don't know. Like, I want to say this was purely Tampa Bay sucks against tight ends, and there was no Drake London. but also Arizona sucks against tight ends. And now the question is there a Drake London or not? So they jacked up his price, and rightfully so, but I do think he's viable, but he's certainly not a McBride smash, but he's not priced like McBride, so it's a different conversation.
And the conversation begins, do we think this is, I don't think this is like you can't replicate this.
Yeah.
But can you at least get one? Can you get two against the Cardinals? And that, I think, is something worth chasing with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Because him and Kirk Cousins are on the same page.
Yeah. Well, and even if it's not the touchdowns, like he never had lower than 8 targets in the 3 games that London has missed. Like, can we just keep him there but add London back in and against a really bad defense? Like, then I'm still interested in Pitts, even at 5K. Like 8 targets doesn't grow on trees.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see. Because you know them. You know these teams. They're not going to do that.
Yep.
It's not going to be good for us. Don't play either.
Nope.
Pittsburgh, Detroit. I think this one I want a lot of pieces in.
Yeah.
This is going to be a shootout. It's in Detroit. It's in the Dome. Goff, Rodgers. I think this is a great Goff stack angle.
Yeah.
In my mind.
I think you can play Rodgers too. I really do.
Rodgers has the potential to be someone who is quite cheap and quite good.
If you look at almost all of their blowout games or their high scoring games, he gets there. The only time he didn't was against Cincinnati the first time, but that's because they ran for 200 something yards. But first time they faced Cincinnati, he put up 25 DraftKings points. A couple weeks ago against Baltimore, he put up 21.5. I think he can get there and probably will get there against the Lions, but totally prefer Goff for sure. But Rodgers is also a pretty decent amount cheaper. So it's a question of salary for sure.
And then salary again constrains on very interesting players. Gibbs. Yep. Sounds good.
He's going to be low owned because he sucked last week and don't care. Just play him again.
He is on and off. Bad, good, bad, insanely good. Yeah. Good. This is just what he does.
Yep.
Shocking that Jalen Warren is $1,000 more expensive than Kenny Gainwell, who just had 7 catches, 7 targets.
Yeah.
This should be someone you want to look at. We were just talking about Michael Carter, who's at 5,400. But give me Kenny Gainwell way over that all the time.
Yeah. Yep. Doesn't matter that it's first ranked team against. Rodgers will check it down to whoever's on the field more. And I think Gainwell's going to be on the field more than Warren at this point. He's playing better than Warren. Arthur Smith is somewhat of a hot hand type of play caller. It just used to not matter in Atlanta because the hot hand was always Bijan because it's Bijan. But he's using Gainwell, and Gainwell is having success, and the team's having success with Gainwell. So I think they're just going to stick with him. And at 5,100, I will gladly take the upside, even if there is a little bit of downside mixed in with him.
The big question would be David Montgomery. I'm out on this.
Yeah.
He just isn't doing what he needs to do this season.
Yeah. He has to score a rushing touchdown for him to even be okay, but he's only getting to okay this season. He's not getting to any of those good games like he did last year.
Yeah, the value is just not there anymore. The opportunities just aren't there, which is a bummer.
Yeah, but rightfully so. Gibbs is truly that much better.
We did all see that with our eyeballs in the beginning, but it took the Lions a little bit to get there.
Yeah, we're not coaches.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yes. Jameson Williams. Yes. DK Metcalf. For sure.
Yeah.
This is going to keep going back and forth. Adam Thielen?
No.
No.
No other Steelers. There will
Pretty
be other
much.
Steelers, but I don't know which one, so I'm not gonna try and guess. But
I think
yeah,
the other Steeler will be a tight end.
yeah. Good thing there's only 4 to choose from.
Muth, Jonnu Smith. Maybe it is just Jonnu Smith again, because that was a wacky. He just had a rushing touchdown. He had like a caught a pitch. Like, oh my God. Arthur Smith, man, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm so done guessing with Pittsburgh on the tight end stuff. Like, also very funny that like the top 5 salary tight ends are all Steelers.
Let's see. Wait,
top 6
where's Ross Dwelly? Is he safe? Is he all right? No.
Where
all
is
right. He's legitimately just not on the roster.
Did they cut him?
No. There's no way. Maybe we'll do a little research afterwards because this is absurd. But yeah, don't play a single Detroit Lion tight end.
Yeah.
Defenses, I don't want to mess with this.
No.
You could get really ambitious if you want to play the Steelers, but you're playing against a high flying Lions offense that is going to score again and again and again.
Yep.
So don't do that.
And Rodgers doesn't turn the ball over, so you can't even really play the Lions, even if you think they blow the Steelers out.
Yep.
Speaking of blowout,
here we go. Las Vegas Raiders heading over to Houston.
0 players. We're done with the video.
All right, sounds good. Jokes aside, like I do like the CJ Stroud, Nico Collins stack. I know you're less excited about that because when you look at what this game script can be, like Nick Chubb, if he's healthy, just makes this so much less exciting. Like Jordan was kind of an exciting play.
Yeah.
But now Nick Chubb's in, and now it's Nick Chubb probably going to get the majority of the runs, and he's going to run for 2 yards to carry.
Yep.
And
Woody Marks is
useless.
It's a bummer.
Yep.
But yeah, like I'm not out on the Stroud Nico stack, but like that's literally the only way it works, and it has to work so well for it to even be worth stacking, in my opinion. Like Nico needs like 2+ touchdowns for it to really pay off for Stroud. I just don't think Stroud throws enough to get there on his own. So I don't hate it, but it's a very thin path for me. I love Nico just by himself because I think he could just get 120 and 1 pretty easily, and you're quite happy about that. And he's not too cost prohibitive. He did go up, but it's not like so expensive that you're just out. So I do like Nico. I don't like anyone else on either side, even Brock Bowers. Like I love the talent of Bowers. I love the talent of Genty, but I just don't think they're getting there against this defense.
Houston defense is just too elite.
Yeah.
Truly. And
Definitely
whether it's Gino, whether it's Pickett, yes, honestly, it's I don't know. It's either the Texans or the Saints. And I kind of want to play the Texans. Boop, 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 do.
Yeah.
That's it for this game.
Literally. Like it's half a joke, but it's also just not a joke. Like I would be shocked if the Raiders scored more than 10 points in real life in this game. And I just don't want anyone for fantasy on an environment that's almost that certain.
You have to get lucky with like a Genty screen, a busted play from Trey Tucker.
Yeah.
But don't gamble on that, man. Don't do that.
There's so many better, more fun ways to spend your money and still lose than to do that.
All right. Should we have about a couple minutes left here.
Yeah.
Let's build a lineup here.
You know my pick for quarterback.
That would be this one, our good friend here. That seems totally reasonable to me. Running back, we have our Bijan Robinson to start. Do we dare double up on the elite running backs? I'm tempted to this slate because there's a few other options where we go cheaper on everything else.
Yeah,
But
like elite wide receiver, it's basically chase or nothing. So like Amon Ra, but um but would you want Gibbs or would you want Achan?
in this slate, I would want Achan.
Okay. I'm
I
down to
think
try it.
I'm curious to see where it goes.
Yeah.
Because if we look at wide receiver and like we want to stack, well, we don't need to anymore. Thanks, Marv. So we can save us a couple of bucks here.
I think Mike Evans would be on my short list, being pretty affordable. Man.
It does unfortunately get real growth real fast, but if like we kind of go down a little faster or lower, like we like Jalen Coker.
Yeah,
like that seems like a good cheaper option.
I'd be fine with him and AD Mitchell, honestly.
Because if we go something like, say, Mike Evans in this game, so that we kind of have the Buccaneers Panther back and forth, and then just go AD Mitchell, and now we are really staring down the double tight end, which we kind of love.
Yeah, but also we can move off the Texans if we want down to a cheaper defense and give ourselves a bit more flexibility if we find we need to do so.
Exactly. So if we were looking at, like I know we like Fannin a lot. Pitts is at 5,000, which kind of puts us out. Like we're going to be closer towards $3,000 tight end.
I mean, Kelsey, that gives us what, 3,300. Do I like anyone at 3,300? Not really.
Unfortunately, no.
Waller's at 35.
That's right. So if we did something like, if we went Darren Waller here, we go to our flex. And so now we're looking at, we can go Fannin to double up here.
Yeah.
If we we can take our shot at a Saints running back and go Evan Hull for that same exact price. Maybe not that one.
No. I mean, Worthy is interesting-ish, but it's a thin play. What about if what was the other defense we said?
Oh, we like the Saints defense.
Yeah.
So Saints is at 3,400. We also like the Bills at 3,500.
Yep. And then punt defenses, we like Titans at 25. We're okay with the Giants at 26 against JJ McCarthy. And yeah.
So in our scenario here, if we go for a punt, because now that opens up the door for a bunch of real options here: Judkins, Jefferson, Hampton, McMillan, Tracy. We like a bunch of these fellas here, and picking someone a little cheaper gives us an option to go up on tight end too.
Yeah. This also semi gives us the option if we wanted to go McBride at tight end instead of Waller, and then someone punty at the flex play, just to stack Brissett. Oh, does it not let us? Are we really? Oh no, that's way too much money. Never mind.
And this is where I think it'd be safe to not go double expensive running back. Like, say if we like Bijan better here.
Yeah.
This is now a much more reasonable build around for us.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you drop it down to like Harvey, Hampton, like we mentioned, or we go all the way down to like even Gainwell at 51, that gives us like another legitimate flex option.
Yeah, so like if we went like Pollard, for example.
Yeah.
the flex options are real now.
Yep.
Now Vidal, like we can even play Gamewell still.
Yeah.
Oh, this is hard now.
We don't have to go McBride. It's hard to not go McBride at the same time because he's just so good. But I'm also totally cool going back to double punt tight end with Achan instead.
Yeah, that might be where we want to go. And I only say that because at least when we say we're punting tight end, like we still have a lot of options that can get us there. Even
Yeah.
like we didn't really mention Dalton Schultz that much today, but
Yeah.
he's still someone who gets there. We can point towards Juwan Johnson, and if we pick a tight end that is cheaper, so say if we went like Hawkinson, right?
Yeah.
Now our flex is like really strong because now we can go Olave, we can go Jameson Williams. That's Javonte Williams, but also Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
So that all feels way better as well.
Yeah. I kind of like that. Now the question is I like those top three options a lot, but I actually don't know which of the three I like the most.
I know, like this has the easy matchup, only real target here,
Yeah.
kind of bonus, and then to me this is like way higher ceiling.
Yeah.
At least like his ceiling's like 30 points. I would say Olave is like 25.
Yeah. But also Javante's not anything to sneeze at. Like hasn't been like amazing lately, but if you look at the beginning of his season, it was just burying you. So
Right.
I would probably do Olave. I
That's
feel
what I was
like
leaning towards here as well.
Coker, Mitchell, and Hawkinson are already kind of like high variance, high upside types of plays, and I would rather get some more safe but good floor to pair with Bijan and Achan.
I like this as well. Honestly, verbatim for what you just said, it just gives you like a guaranteed opportunity and volume that should come through against a very, very bad Jets defense.
Yep.
I like this.
Same.
I think there still be a little tweaking to do.
Yeah.
But I think this is kind of one of the options that we like a lot. If you really do want to go somewhere different, you can drop a running back, put someone like that in your wide receiver to kind of give you another angle. Don't blame me at all for that.
Or even just going down from Achan to James Cook, like you get an extra 1,000, you can go up from Olave to Nico Collins, and that feels just as comfy.
I might steal that from you. If you see us in the Fantasy Now Plus Weekly, and I do exactly that, you know why.
Yep.
But I think that's gonna do it for us today. I think we made it.
Yeah.
Not at 2 hours.
Yeah.
They're gonna love us.
It's only 100 minutes.
Wow. But hey, great show today as always. Any last questions, comments, thoughts for the viewers back home?
I mean, we're end of season. Every week is going to be disgusting from here on out. We're going to be touting a lot of players in the next few weeks of just like, who on earth are these people? How do we know that they get any work whatsoever? So, if you are not super deep in the weeds, I would not recommend playing DFS in the last 2 to 3 weeks of the regular season. But if you're truly a sicko like us, this is some of the best times because you can just make really bizarre lineups and really strange combos and just sometimes walk into a lot of money on accident. So it's going to be fun, but it's certainly not for everyone in these few weeks remaining.
All eyes are on you, Quinn Ewers. Let's get it done. Let's win that million maker, and let's make some history, huh? Let's earn you that starting role for 2026. But that's gonna do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. I know we're not live today, but we'll be not live next week because that's literally Christmas. So we will see you back in time for week 18.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. And hey, and we'll be with you during the playoffs. Don't worry. We'll be here giving the same spiel, trying to find a way to be the offensive coordinator in the NFL and play the good players and not the bad ones. So thank you, everybody. It's been Get Tilted. I'm Brian. This is Tim. And we will see you next time. Play outro.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you watch or listen to podcasts. We'll be back next week for more ways to win your league.